gentlemen, my name is Nate the Great, and you are listening to another edition of Pro Talk Wrestling here on Spreaker.com. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday to you guys. Just wanted to let you know that I am going to be doing these podcasts more frequently now that the show will be ending tonight. For those of you that don't know, I will be in the Children's Theater production of Treasure Island, which begins tonight at 7 p.m. at the Wausau West High School here in Wausau, Wisconsin. And also there will be two showings tomorrow night at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. So if you have nothing to do and you want something to look forward to other than the Super Bowl, then look forward to this show. All right, so let's get right into talking about Pro Talk Wrestling. Talk about Pro Talk Wrestling and what's to come for the upcoming weeks, as well as SmackDown, Raw. TNA actually had a very interesting show, and gonna have another deal for you guys that you definitely do not want to miss out on, as well as the continuation of the rivalries 3 years at a time, all building up to what I think is going to be the greatest rivalry of all time at the 1 year show of Pro Talk Wrestling. So, looking forward to that. Let's just go right into it. On a bit of a sad note, there was a few things that happened this week that was not exactly cool and amazing, and not exactly that worth, it's rough to say the least. First of all, deepest condolences to the family of ECW original Axel Rotten. He passed away just a couple days ago, and honestly, whether you're one of those people that didn't do that much in the ring, or you did a lot in the ring, you still got in the ring, and you still put your life on the line, and you still have my respect guaranteed no matter what. So, deepest condolences to the Axel Rotten family, and I'm honestly need you guys to know that, he's in a better place right now. He's not in pain, he's not suffering, he's not, feeling anything more than, joy and happiness, but he is going to be missed. Another thing that happened this week, Blackjack Mulligan was actually admitted into the hospital for possibly was a second heart attack. That was one of the reasons why Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt were not at the SmackDown and Raw shows this week. They were attending to their grandfathers, so my thoughts and prayers go out to the family members of Blackjack Mulligan, as well as the Hart family, as earlier this week it was revealed that Bret Hart is now suffering from prostate cancer. And anytime you hear the word cancer, it's a very scary thing, but prostate cancer, I think, is one of the most common in men nowadays, so it is going to be a tough road for the Hart family. Thoughts and wishes. You be sure to use the hashtag FightBret, Fight Hitman. You are indeed the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. And there's no way that this is going to hold you back. So it is going to be hard to go from that note to talking about Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. I'm actually going to combine these two because really, you put them together, you probably got more to talk about than just doing the shows individually. So just going to touch some points on Raw and SmackDown. On Raw, they had AJ Styles on Miz TV, and he actually worked a little bit of a little mini storyline with The Miz, where Miz came out and he said, people know you on the independent scene, but they don't know you in WWE. This is where it matters. I used to have somebody under my wing named Daniel Bryan, and he cared about what the fans thought. The fans aren't going to help you. I can help you. Basically, he's trying to make it seem like AJ needs help from The Miz. And once again, Miz, kept talking about his accomplishments, including main eventing WrestleMania, as we like to call it, the bad one, WrestleMania 27, and AJ finally just had enough of it because Miz made it very clear that he thinks that nobody's going to even know about AJ, nobody's going to care about AJ. AJ had enough. AJ beat down the Miz, and that escalated into a matchup on SmackDown, which featured Miz taking on AJ Styles, and a pretty decent matchup, I'll say. And it ended with AJ locking in the calf killer, or as Marlo Ronaldo called it, the Calf Crusher. I don't know if anybody told him to, change the move so it's not Calf Killer instead of Calf Crusher, but that's apparently what it was called. So it was just one of those things that was interesting to hear. But Chris Jericho actually came out. He said he was going to watch the matchup between AJ and The Miz very carefully because he wanted to kind of inspect AJ, see what he's all about. And Jericho came to him, and this was like dead serious Chris Jericho. He was saying, you're great. You've done a great job. You beat me. You've done fantastic for, your first couple of nights. But are you great? Are you even great enough to beat me again? So let's go at it again. And he actually said that, let's have a rematch from the Instant Classic that we had on Monday Night Raw last Monday. And I don't think I'd call that an Instant Classic. It was a good matchup, but it was just not one of those matchups that I would call, basic Instant Classic. But we are going to get the rematch next week on SmackDown. Chris Jericho versus AJ Styles in a rematch that will probably be so much more talked about than the first matchup. I guarantee it. Also next week, which I'll talk about a little bit later, Brock Lesnar will actually be on SmackDown, which will be interesting to say the least, because this is the first time in a while that you've seen Brock Lesnar come to SmackDown, whether to talk, whether to wrestle, it doesn't matter. But Raw actually kicked off with Lesnar and with Paul Heyman, in which they both talked about, how the Wyatt family, how they are setting something up with the Wyatt family. They are planting the seeds for the Wyatt family, saying that, hey, you guys eliminated us, but we are going to not, forget about what you guys did, but we have more important things to focus on, that is Fastlane, and talking about the triple threat matchup. Dean Ambrose comes out, and he was saying, I'm not afraid of you, I'm not intimidated by you, go ahead, take me to Suplex City. And this is one of the first few times you actually see somebody actually get in Brock's face and say, bring it on, see what you got. And, oh man, the night ended with actually Brock Lesnar F5ing Dean Ambrose. And you just saw so many of the memes, so many of the different deals that they talked about with Brock Lesnar. They actually showed a picture of his wife, Sable, having the pasties on, and Dean Ambrose having a caption underneath him that said, those are my handprints, and Brock Lesnar gave him an F5. Or there's another one that was one of my favorite, was Brock Lesnar F5'd him, and there's a caption that said, and from that moment on, Dean Ambrose never touched, Sable's breasts again, or as he said, titties again, since he is the titty master, which I think was one of those things that was just too funny to resist. I cannot believe that somebody actually got away with that, and that just stuck for as long as it has, for a long time. But it's going to be interesting to see how... Well, let me talk about the Fastlane triple threat match right now. Because here's the interesting part about that, is that people are just being so negative about that because it seems like it's only going to benefit Roman Reigns, really. And in a way, that's true, but this could be a great opportunity to have them, foreshadow what is to come at WrestleMania. And that's saying, hey, we're going to give Fastlane the main event to these guys, and these guys you are going to really want to focus on when it comes to WrestleMania. I'm hoping that is what's going to happen. I'm hoping that, if you're put in this main event spotlight, you've got a lot of, people that are rallying behind you, and they're saying, like, hey, we got a lot of confidence in you. We want you to really, sell the tickets, sell the show, really make it something that people will not want to forget about in the long run. And I'm hoping that, it goes down to being, Triple H versus Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose versus The Undertaker, and the Wyatt family in an elimination handicap match against Brock Lesnar, because I think that's the best way to keep Brock Lesnar looking strong and give Wyatt the victory that they'll need. But I already talked about that. I talked about, Brock Lesnar eliminating Harper and Rowan, eliminating Strowman, but then Bray Wyatt getting the victory in the end, because then, it'll still be one of those moments where it's like, well, it still took 4 guys to take down Brock, but then it'll give Bray the victory that he's needed for a long, long time. So, that happened, and one thing that really caught me off guard was the whole thing that happened with the Divas division, was that they had Brie Bella beat Charlotte in a singles match this past Raw, and obviously Brie is going to be next in line for a Divas Championship match in the near future. And they also had an alliance made between Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch after Team Bad basically attacked Sasha, saying, "Hey, you don't need us, we don't need you." And the SmackDown segment between Sasha and Becky, oh man, I love how it started off with Sasha saying we're going to change this interview to a table for three, and they just started bickering back and forth, talking about how they're going to be the Divas champion, but for right now they have Team Bad that is going to be gunning for each other, and it's like, oh, I guess we better have each other's back. Yeah, I guess we should, but after that, I'm going to be the next Divas champion, not unless I beat you there first. Fine. And then Renee Young just says the line of, "Did you two just agree to align with each other?" And Becky Lynch is just like, "I don't know," and just walks away. Oh man, I love you, Becky. But the interesting part about this whole thing is indeed the whole story behind the reason why Brie Bella is getting the title match in the first place. It's kind of, I know this is going to seem mean to say, but it's kind of true. It's kind of a pity title shot because the whole thing going on with Nikki Bella is that she had a, successful neck surgery. Glad to hear it. She is going to be out for a few months. Always unfortunate. And we'll see how the recovery time goes, or, if she'll be coming back. And Brie Bella, I think it's just because they're really trying to, take that spotlight and turn it into something positive. And what I'm hoping is that Brie Bella has one of the best matches of her career against Charlotte at Fastlane, because I know that's the direction they're going with. But this is also kind of one of those things that's going to help, be a side burner for when they go into the actual matchup between Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Sasha Banks at WrestleMania, because you got to believe that they're saving up that triple threat match for WrestleMania time, which I'm totally for. As long as after WrestleMania they change the Divas Championship to the Women's Championship, like I said before, I would love it if they would have, Becky Lynch win the title. Next night on Raw, she's just, discards the Divas Championship, and that, Alundra Blaze comes out and gives her the classic Women's Championship as a metaphorical way of, passing the torch. Now, people would say that would make more sense if Trish Stratus was around, but I think she's going to be a little harder to get a hold of than Alundra Blaze. Nothing against Alundra Blaze, all respect to the Hall of Famer. Just, I think it would be a little more interesting to have, Alundra Blaze pass her Women's Championship that she took out of the trash can at her Hall of Fame ceremony, which I thought was awesome, and, present it to Becky Lynch as a way of saying, I didn't represent the title well, but I know that you're going to make this title mean so much more. I think that would be the best way to do it. We'll see how WWE does it. So WWE, try to book it better. The Social Outcast, talked about, how Bo Ryder was, out, doing new singles, stuff like that. Basically, they got squashed by the Usos and by the New Day in a matter of 24 hours. Oh, I'm sorry, a matter of a couple days, because SmackDown is obviously on Thursdays and not on Tuesdays pre-taped. So, Social Outcast didn't really do that much. And it's going to be interesting because they haven't really done anything for the New Day. It seems like they're just throwing teams together and they're just thinking, oh, okay, we'll see what happens. Whatever happens, happens. Honestly, right now, I think they need to do a double turn. And what I mean by that is they need to turn the Dudley Boys heel, and I think they need to turn the New Day into baby faces, because New Day has been really getting fans behind them, and they're really getting something really good, positive behind them. And I think the Dudley Boys are going to do better off as heels. And right now, splitting them is a really bad decision right now. I'm calling that right now. If you split the Dudley Boys right now, it is going to just burn up in your face right now. So WWE, do not do that. Save it for after they get their, 20th or whatever title run, like 25th or whatever I think it is. I lost track. But have them win the titles, hold on to it for maybe a few months.